Đây là The Conductor, một podcast của Zing, nơi đưa tới góc nhìn của người trong nghề về kinh doanh, thị trường và cách vận hành doanh nghiệp. Tôi là Thủy Tiên và khách mời ngày hôm nay là bác Gibran Bukhari.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Gibran Bukhari, Head of Sales of Masterise Homes. I'd like to welcome you to the podcast today. Thank you.
So I've known that you have worked and lived in various countries. When did you first come to Vietnam? And do you have any prior knowledge of Ho Chi Minh City before?
Great, interesting question. Prior knowledge of Vietnam, I think for me, started in the mid-'80s. When we had a lot of Vietnamese move to Toronto, Canada. So I shared a class with a close friend of mine, Vietnamese guy, who was living very close to my house, and we would go to his house. And the first thing you get to learn about somebody else's culture is food. And being a foodie, that always captured me about Vietnam. So I spent a lot of time researching about Vietnam as a child because of the relationship that I had with my friend. And then lo and behold, I arrived here just before the pandemic in 2020. And I was marveled by what I saw. I just saw this, felt like an untapped, hidden secret.
Yeah, there's so many things to explore in Vietnam.
Completely. I mean, coming from Dubai and having spent 16 years in Dubai, the elements of nature are something that the Dubai starts to introduce because you are in the desert. But coming to Vietnam, you have so much natural resources, you have so much nature, there's a perfect balance between work, live, and play. I mean, 45 minutes to 1 hour, you can be in a vacation destination that people dream about going for in a lifetime.
Wow. So, having experienced a lot of Vietnam, what is your most noticeable memory of Vietnam in terms of lifestyle or culture? Like before you mentioned about food in Vietnam.
Well, I think people make the place. I've been asked this question many times, and you know, it's the warmth of a nation. It's the warmth of a people. It's an environment that is welcoming, and usually all of those things, people tie food in together. So, you know, people and cuisine are sort of a connection. And people in Vietnam are always wanting to share a meal with you, share a coffee, share a drink, let's meet at a cafe. So it's a very good place to forge friendships. It's a very good place to meet and interact and understand more about the heritage and the culture.
Yeah, I can say that Vietnam is such a wonderful country. So I'm just curious, what are the differences between Vietnam and your home country? Or the process of adjusting to a new life difficult to you?
It's an interesting question you ask. When you say home country, I've had to make my home in every country that I've lived in. I've been in the lovely world of real estate for over 22 years and traveling to many different countries. You have to make a home in the place that you live. So I wasn't expecting to feel as welcome as I did coming into Vietnam. I didn't expect this. I didn't expect it to have everything that I could wish, want, and desire over here, with an opportunity and a platform to get involved into a very fast-paced, aggressive real estate market, which is what I've dedicated my life to. So if I'm not able to see opportunity in property development and real estate, then for me it just comes as a vacation destination. But if I can identify that there's opportunity for work here, then that's usually a key indication for me that I want to spend time in this type of environment.
So, being head of sales, you have such a tight schedule. So, what are your personal interests outside work? How do you balance your inner office work and your outer hobbies?
I'm a person who loves to go to the market. So if I were to pick the perfect day for me that was outside of my work, it would start with me going to the market and getting some fresh fruits, getting some fresh vegetables, getting some fresh meat, some fresh fish, coming back home and starting to cook.
Oh,
and then
you cook at home.
I love cooking. So the whole process, but not just the process of cooking when you're at home, but the whole process of going and procuring your meat, procuring your fish, grabbing all of your ingredients that you need, maybe impulsively creating a dish because you went to the market and you found something that's fresh. So Vietnam is especially Ho Chi Minh City, it's so dynamic when it comes to the diversification of what's available here. So for me, that the perfect day is creating a culinary experience, and then inviting people over and having a nice dinner at home and enjoying with friends.
So outside work, you enjoy cooking, spend time going to the market, picking what you like, and create a special dish.
I think you put. I think you hit the nail on the head. It's creating something.
Yeah.
I think anything that you can create, or anything that you can cultivate from something and turn it into something, there's a sense of satisfaction and reward.
So you said previously when you first come to Vietnam, just like Dubai, it's like a desert. It's nothing to do much. So what are the challenges you have in the real estate market in Vietnam? Because there are nothing. You have to explore, you have to be a pioneer to do a lot of work here.
I think the biggest challenge that any of us can talk about was navigating through the pandemic.
Yeah.
I really think that all of this happened to everybody at the same time, and it was really about learning on the fly. When you didn't have a plan, how do you execute your work when the life has changed, and not just for you but for everybody simultaneously? So the biggest challenge I found was navigating through that pandemic. I did learn a lot during that time. And I do feel that people had more time and attention to reflect, to learn, and to tap into what's most important to them. And I think the home has become more of a focal point for anybody who has been living through this recent pandemic that we've just overcome. And I think that having a home that allows you to live a lifestyle is more paramount today than it was 5 years ago.
So I have to say that the pandemic, not just you, not just me, we suffer a lot from the pandemic, and let alone the real estate market. So how do you survive that period?
So we had plans of taking our product abroad. And then obviously COVID came along, and then plans had to shift a little bit.
Yeah.
We were able to successfully export the product into the Hong Kong market, which was last year for Grand Marina Saigon. And Grand Marina Saigon was very well received in the Hong Kong market. So lo and behold, when we came back into Vietnam and we launched the first urban branded residence in Vietnam, in Grand Marina Saigon, and then we launched the Grand Hanoi, a Ritz-Carlton residence in Hanoi. These were two products that had to be introduced into a market that was maybe not aware of this level of product being showcased in Vietnam. So that was a hurdle that we had to overcome at that time. However, once we were able to have the attention with our clients and customers and have a detailed, tailor-made conversation that is about understanding the customer more, then you get to know that the customer has experienced everything that we are bringing to the forefront of the real estate market. However, the customers have experienced this for a short duration when they're on vacation. And then when you ask a client, if you were to make an investment into a property in London, or if you were to make an investment in a property in Hong Kong, Singapore, or Dubai, what location would you want to invest in? And everybody picks the heart of the city. And then when you dig a little bit deeper and you see where people are residing today in Ho Chi Minh City or in Hanoi, you see they live a little bit away from the city because of lack of opportunity for product in the core.
Yeah.
So when you hit the nail on the head and you say you've got centralized location in the core with a trifecta, if we're talking about Grand Marina Saigon, you're talking about river facing, you're talking about botanical gardens, CBD, also with connectivity through the metro line, we're really talking about something that is a trifecta when it comes to that end-all tale of location, location, location.
Wow. So we really have to understand our customer, understand the market to bring your product, which is real estate, to them. So there are many ways to achieve efficiency as well as profit. As people always say, all roads lead to Rome. What is your method, your favorite method?
You
to
know,
apply?
my favorite method is when you realize that sometimes in business it's not all about profits. And I know that may be a funny thing to say, because the first reaction anybody would say is, no, business is all about profits. But when you are making a legacy, when you are looking at creating something, like if you look at the companies that we are all subject to being customers to, you look at Rolls-Royce, you look at Bentley, you look at Ferrari, you look at Rolex, you look at Hermes, you look at Bottega, you look at, for the ladies, love Chanel, right? When you look at brands like this, there's a reputation that comes into it. And usually that reputation comes from the fact that you are developing or creating something with the customer satisfaction in mind.
Yes.
When you're creating something with the customer satisfaction in mind, you really have to eliminate the cost.
Yeah.
It's very easy for a developer to say, yes, this is branded, this is the way it is. However, if you are not attached to a brand, then it's really not branded. That brand has a reputation of hundreds of years that they have to maintain. So understanding the customer, understanding the brand you represent, and understanding the value proposition it brings to the consumer is the most important thing.
Wow. So, but anyhow, we always have to look back to the profit. No, I can understand your statement that about the brand, but sometimes we need the profit. We need the investment to do more to our brand.
100%.
Yeah, always come back to that.
100%. But it always starts with foundation.
Yeah.
Anything you do starts with foundation. If your foundation is weak, your structure on top is not going to be stable. Meaning, you have to sacrifice at the beginning. Everything that must grow in life has to break. The seed, when you plant the seed in the ground, it must break before it can grow. And this is the same thing when it comes to any business or development. Sacrifice in the beginning. Sacrifice in the beginning. Because when you make a customer and you build a relationship and you become a trusted partner of your customer, you will be that person's choice for the rest of their life, for their family and for their family. We are not here at Masterise Homes looking for a sale. One sale, no. We are looking to upgrade people's life. We are looking to take people and grow with them as their life grows. Today, you are maybe single. Tomorrow, you may be married. The next year, you may have children. So we believe that we are providing homes for people. We are providing a lifestyle for people. We are providing an elevated experience of living.
Wow. So speaking about strategy, like I really like what you share. I'm really curious about what is your most successful strategy applied in the Vietnam market?
Understanding a customer.
Understand your customer.
Understand your customer individually. Spend time to get to know what that person's interests are, where they are in their life at this particular moment, where they want to be in the next 5 years, where they want to be in the next 10 years. Don't only focus on what your objective is. Once you understand the client, you will be able to create something that is of interest to them.
So you really know Vietnamese market really well. You once stated you are fortunate to live and work in such fast-growing market. So can you have any clear views on the potential of our market in terms of real estate?
I think me being here is an answer in itself. I come from one of the most interesting real estate markets, having spent 16 years in Dubai and having pivoted from Dubai directly to Vietnam. And arriving in Vietnam, a lot of people looked at me and said, why would you want to leave Dubai and come to Vietnam? But that question was asked to me 18 years ago when I moved to Dubai. And people were asking me, why do you want to move to Dubai? It's just an empty box. It's like a desert. And I felt that pulse when I landed here in Vietnam. And I felt that pulse working here in Vietnam. And I still feel that if you look today, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years down the line, it's a very, very clear direction where Vietnam is going as a country. and what type of a global player Vietnam is. There's not one newspaper that you can open in the business section that's going to tell you about Vietnam's export capabilities during the time of 2021 pandemic, when, as we know, being here in 2021, a lot of the country was on lockdown for a long duration of the time.
It was a hard time.
Was a hard time, and still Vietnam is responsible for a huge amount of exports globally. And our vaccine rates were very low during that time, and within a short period of time, vaccine rates came up above 80% in a very short period of time. That goes to show what type of a business-friendly environment Vietnam is, because the only way to procure your vaccine is through government to government. So that means that Vietnam was getting the support from governments all over the world because Vietnam is controlling product.
Yeah, wow. So you know a lot about Vietnam, you know a lot about the market, real estate. What do you think are the criteria of a good real estate project?
I'll tell you, for me, it's quality. Quality, quality, quality. In anything that I buy, I've compromised myself personally in investments that I've made, because you know the initial onset of when you're signing is when you have to put money down. So sometimes initially you look at it and you think, oh, if I can save right now, it's worth it. But my savings right now have caused me more payments later on because I have to repair, correct, or do any type of this stuff. But when you buy into reputation, you buy into brand, you buy into quality, you kind of eliminate all of that extra headache that you would take on. So when we talk about luxury items, we talk about procuring the best materials in the world. And that's across the board, whether it's a luxury bag, luxury watch, or luxury residence. You know, and when we talk about luxury brands, we know that you are dealing with a reputation that is not going to compromise itself for a single product. These brands grow with family dynamics, and that's exactly the objective that we are putting forward here at Masterise Homes.
Besides quality, are there any criteria you think would be good?
In real estate? Location, location, location.
Yeah, location.
Listen, it's I can't invent this slogan. We are only showcasing what has already been tried, tested, and proven throughout the world. So when it comes location, 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 when it comes to quality, these are key boxes that give you that assurance, okay, when you're making an investment.
What are your thoughts on how to improve and expanding the real estate market in Vietnam? What are the advantages and disadvantages?
Okay, so if we're looking over the last 2 years having resided in Vietnam, there is a certain cap of the level of luxury that's been introduced into the market. In comparison to what's available globally, the mass of the market is particularly under that level. However, when it comes to what we are showcasing here, we're bringing in branded residences, but not resort or only resort branded residences, which most people are familiar with. Urban branded residence. And what urban branded residents do is it elevates the whole lifestyle for each and every customer. So if the real estate market was capped out at this level, we are talking about not just bringing the localized regional real estate development to this level, but bringing it to the highest level globally. Now, what does that do? That means the opportunity in Vietnam for the highest level of real estate globally is more attractive than any other location, because the rest of the markets have multiple different options that they can go for. And these multiple different options, if you go to the Singapore market or you go to the Dubai market, are very sophisticated markets. But when you come here, the difference between the level of product that's available in the Vietnamese market and the level of serviced product that's available is a huge, huge gap that we are bridging here in Masterise Homes.
Okay, so I was honored to be here and hear sharings, because as a young generation, I have so much to learn, especially I had a chance to sit down here and talk to you. I really want to hear your advices for the young real estate agents.
Stay focused. Work for a product that you are proud to put your name beside. Every single young real estate professional today should attach their name to a product that they know can represent themselves in a global manner. because all of the work you do today is a part of your story tomorrow. And all your successes today will bring you more successes tomorrow. Stay focused. Don't spread yourself too thin. Put your heart, your mind, and your soul behind what you do, and success will come. And treat your customer like a king and like a queen.
Yeah, so it's all about being passionate, and you have to build a foundation first, and you have to put all of your effort in your product, and you have to trust it and bring it to your customer.
100%.
Yeah.
And attach your name. You
Yeah.
yourself are a brand. So when you attach you yourself as a brand to a company that's attached to companies, you elevate the whole experience and you elevate yourself as well.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing.
Most welcome.
Yeah.